Hi, my name's Lynn. I'm from Just Women Live, and I'm here to talk to the lovely Starling, who we were privileged to have at our last Just Women Live. Thank you for coming on the podcast today. I am just so excited to hear about your story from your past. What made you and what gave you the idea of being a singer, a writer? You have so much to offer.
Thank you so much, Lynn. And before I go any further, I just want to say I loved playing at Just Women, so much so that I will be playing again.
Yeah.
And I just love, it's hard to describe an event of what the magnitude of the event is that you've created, but it is magic. It's also really meaningful as well as fun. So it hits all the different notes of like topics that really matter, as well as like having a comedian or like me at the end doing pop music and everyone's dancing and screaming and singing the lyrics, but at the same time the lyrics are deep, so it hits all those different notes. But to answer your question, yes, my stage name, my singing name is Starling. My real name is Harriet, and Harriet's journey is one of very many highs and lows. So starting off as a child on one level, a very middle class background. So grew up in the suburbs, just outside of London. And then on the other hand, and so sort of some level of privilege. And on the other hand, being in a very dangerous house with an addict, violence, feeling very on edge my whole childhood. And what I often talk about when I talk about trauma is it's not what happens to you, it's the effect of what happens to you. So for instance, let's say this is a bad analogy, but let's say you have a car crash. It's not the crash, it's the fact you can't use your arm anymore. For childhood trauma, which is really what I'm referring to, it's not so much the violence, it's the or the addiction and chaos. It's so much so what the meaning we made as a child.
Was your mother or your father?
I'm not going to say like too many details about the specifics, but I will say that the meaning I made is that I'm a pain or I'm a problem. And so of course that was an impact on confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, self-value. And I was young. And then I grew up and essentially became an actor. I got into a very, very good drama school and thought I would be in classical theatre, Shakespeare, all of that kind of thing. And got into one of I think it was second best or first in the country. Fantastic. And got great training. Yeah, loved it. Until I did therapy, which was sort of a few years later when I was looking for work, trying to get an agent. I didn't realise until I had all the therapy quite what had gone on and quite how low my confidence and self-esteem was.
So it came out then.
Oh yeah. And I didn't realise, Lynn, that actually acting for me, and I'm not saying for all actresses, but it was actually a way of not being Harriet. It was a way of escaping.
Of course.
Yeah, and then as I did the therapy and I sort of worked out what I really wanted to do, I really said I want to sing, but I was always told I couldn't sing. So when I did auditions,
who told you couldn't sing though?
Well,
at the auditions,
you're an actress, but you might be a musical theatre actress, and they say, oh no, Harriet, don't do that. You're an actress. You're what they call a straight actress, not a musical theatre one. Right. Okay, fine. I'm not good at singing, and then it just kept coming to me that you haven't got what it takes to be a singer. So I thought, well, that's off the cards. Anyway, what essentially happened as a quick story, whistle stop tour, is that I was working in a bar on minimum wage, graduated from this drama school. Years later, I was struggling, not months, for years. A famous band were in the audience when I decided to sing in this bar where I was a waitress.
Oh, wow.
And one of them was called Henry, and he essentially helped me write my first song, get my first record deal.
So he talked to you and you just chatted and he said, can I hear you sing?
Yeah, I was actually singing, and then it was, would you come to the studio tomorrow?
Wow,
so it's a real discovery story. And then I ended up in the studio with Massive Attack a couple of months later. I got a record deal 6 months after that, and then got flown to New York, Nashville, and LA all within the same year. Wow. So that was 10 years ago. Everything was going amazing,
very fast,
super fast on the radio. Everything's great.
Was it fun?
And then so fun. And then what kept coming up for me was, now that I'm getting what I want, how can I feel worthy of receiving it? And that's when I then fell into coaching. Pandemic happened, world stopped, as you know.
Amazing.
And on one hand, really traumatizing. So I was meant to be like traveling America and and I couldn't. And then on the other hand, the silver lining for me was moving down to the house in Kent I was telling you about earlier, and actually setting up on Zoom, because it's all we had, these talks on confidence, these talks
so
on...
you did that to all these people that
hundreds, if not thousands.
But how did you find all these people? They found you?
Well, it went and it just expanded, and then I ran ads. Everyone's online. Yeah, it was much easier. And then that led to what's essentially this hybrid career I have now, where I'm a pop singer, absolutely, and I'm a songwriter, but I'm also very much a speaker and mentor for women with their self-esteem. Yeah.
So can you do the talk and then go into a song?
Yes, I
can.
can.
Two different people.
And in for the house concerts, they've exploded. I actually do half an hour concert, half an hour conversation.
Wow.
And at the end of it, I'm always like, look, if you want one-to-one sessions, let me know. But generally, I'm just talking about a theme. And the women, because I have 85% female fan base, are like, this is so helpful, and I like your lyrics, but now I can see the woman behind the lyrics.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm like, it's not what's happened to you, it's the meaning you've made. And often as children, because our brain, our prefrontal cortex is not formed, we think, oh, they got divorced because of me. Or they're arguing because of me, or they're hitting because of me. It's my fault. And as soon as you decouple the story from your trauma, you're free, because your story is not often accurate, because it's made from a child's mind.
Gosh. That's fascinating.
Isn't it?
So what's next?
Yeah, and then last year I ended up studying neuroscience because I was so obsessed with this work. Yeah.
So you could actually work really well as a speaker.
Yeah,
and
I'm getting more of that work.
Around,
right.
And then just break into a song. That'd be so different. Be like Superwoman, you're going from one.
Yeah, you're a queen.
And then it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, I get hired for both, and then sometimes, in your event, there was no need because there were other speakers. And people want to sing and dance, and honestly, with the lyrics, I still think it adds value. But
definitely,
for me as a woman now in my late 30s, I'm like, how can I help more women not hate themselves and actually start to feel empowered, but also that there's nothing wrong with you, but we always go to that as a default.
You hit a lot of notes. I know a few people came up to you. There's one particular woman who said, did that actually happen to you?
Yes.
And she listened to your lyrics very strongly. She was fascinated by it.
And I think she wants me on her podcast.
She does. Rain When It's Raining. Her name's Selena. Yeah.
Great show.
Amazing. Yeah. So she's a trauma psychologist. So she just, and it was amazing how she picked it up so quickly.
Yeah.
So,
and I was like, oh, do I tell her the truth? Because I hide behind lyrics. And I also don't want to tell too much story. Yeah. Some people are still alive. But I do also think, I spoke about this on Instagram the other day, that there's a difference between silencing, so not sharing your story at all, and then oversharing. And I think the middle ground is you can share the story, but without the detail.
Exactly.
And people can go like, oh, she gets me. Like she's been to hell and back.
Absolutely. Wow. So being a speaker around London, around England?
I've done it internationally. I've done some things in America too. But I would say transparently, that's much newer than all of the music
English accent as well.
Oh, hell yeah. But I've done a few speaking gigs, and I imagine that will probably increase. And
it will do.
Meantime, I've just finished the tour, as you know, last week, the summer tour, house tour, and back on the road in a month.
And then you're back, and then you're on the road in September. And you're going up to Scotland?
Scotland.
Is that your tour?
Yeah, I've actually got some Sussex, but I end up in Scotland.
What kind of places in Sussex? Are they event places?
House concerts.
Oh, yeah.
And then in Scotland, it's yoga retreats, women's circles.
Yeah.
And a castle. And then I end up separately in LA, which I often go to write songs. It's the hub of pop music, that LA and Sweden, they're the places, and then I'm playing for you.
I wonder if there's a way we can get you to speak a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Would you speak before the music, or would you speak at the beginning and then music at the end, or would you think it's good going from speaking to music?
I think that can work really well. And you were saying about the dinner.
Yeah.
Perhaps depends if they're dancing, but if it's the end, the dancing, that's crescendo done. Yeah. Or if it's more like the ballads.
We've gone to 10. So we'll have it longer.
Fab.
Yeah.
And if it's ballads, then I could always speak afterwards. But the main thing here is that I want the women to feel that they're rewriting their own narrative.
Yeah, that's what I love.
Because I think, as I say, with the default behaviours, I think that we're always looking to self-blame and actually really quickly.
Yeah, a lot.
Really quickly. And I think one of the other things I teach in my talks is you're a masterpiece and a work in progress. And I think women are always like, I'm a work in progress. I'm like, no, but honey, you can also be a masterpiece.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
you know, I'm still getting, like, I got my neuroscience training.
Yeah.
That was years after coaching people, you know. So you can be both fabulous and still work on things. But I feel like women are always focused on what they're not rather than what they are.
Have you got a family?
Yes. I mean, not children. But I'm married and, yeah, we're having that chat.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So be little starlings.
Yeah, we hope.
Little starlings, which is a great name. So
great.
what came from that name? I mean, why starling?
Yeah.
Was it from a bird?
Yeah. Well, no. It was actually from this members club where I was a waitress for 7 years and then got discovered. And they would call me Harriet Darling Starling on the payment every week. There was cash, super questionable. And instead of Harriet Reardon, cash in hand. Instead of Harriet Reardon, which is my government name, it was Harriet the Darling Starling.
I love that.
And then when I got signed, it was Harriet Darling or Harriet Starling. And then actually my first manager, Alex, brilliantly said, just cut the Harriet. It's too British.
And
just
Starling's
cut it.
World.
And then Starling's World, he helped me with that of like
opens everything up.
You could create your own world. And weirdly, because this is 10 years ago. Yeah.
10 years ago, gosh.
When I got signed and weirdly, I've then become a speaker a lot later on or a coach a lot later on. So that was almost like a prequel to what was really
actually happening.
Yeah, because I always thought I was just a singer, you know, just a songwriter.
Do you know something? There's something about having really powerful speakers. I know in London, and they're paying a lot of money for speakers.
Yeah.
With you know, I'm talking about mass. You know, like for instance, there's an estate agent who has a wellness fund for 800 women in their company. And the company's obviously all over England, and they bring them together and have 2 really big events where they have 2 or 3 women speaking. So I must get you in touch with them.
That's amazing.
That'd be fantastic, because women in those kind of businesses, high stress, I'm talking about insurance, banking and estate agency, they're all high stress jobs.
Yeah.
And very, very quick and not just relationship building, there's an awful lot more. But they're always on fight or flight.
Exactly. And you'll commonly find, depending on the blueprint of their childhood, that if you were on edge like I was, that you then choose a very pressured job.
Yeah,
because
if
you think about
like
the frequency, exactly that. And then from a nervous system perspective, and there's nothing wrong with it, by the way, being in banking, being a pop star, being under pressure, whatever, being a high, achieving athlete. But whatever you're choosing, it's just understanding that success often comes at a cost to our body. And so one of the things I've more recently been teaching, I have this group I run called The Glow Up, is how can you have success without self-neglect?
Of course.
And that's the real, and actually I'm still trying to conquer it. It's a real journey. For me.
So what do you do to really relax?
For me, nature, if I can actually have time in nature. Absolutely. But for me, if I'm rushing around, like, as you know, I've just been, actually just these eye movements and these hand movements, which I can teach you, they actually in under a minute will drop your cortisol levels.
Really?
So it's about having drills that are quicker than a yoga class.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you go to yoga?
I do love to yoga. My new thing is Tai Chi. Tai Chi on a Thursdays if I'm not on tour.
Wow.
And that's replaced my yoga for now. And I really feel the benefits. Just an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Fabulous. Outside or inside?
Yeah, it's by the harbour actually in Ramsgate.
Outside, water.
Yeah, in the summer.
Fabulous.
It'll be in a studio, but we have to have practices.
It's not a control thing, mind, really, really soft control. It's Chinese, isn't it? Or
yeah, I believe
Japanese
so. And what's interesting is it doesn't look like anything then, but inside you actually do feel very soothed.
Gosh.
So I'm really enjoying that. Yeah.
Lovely. And you got a good teacher?
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
Brilliant. You got the best. You got the best of both worlds, though.
Totally.
LA, New York,
and Tai Chi.
Exactly.
And my new thing is golf, which I'm terrible at.
Is it?
Oh, it's so fun.
God.
I'm just like, wow.
Really?
I know. I'm learning early.
And the golf women, are they okay?
Yeah, I'm just terrible at golf, Lynn, but like I actually find it kind of fun.
Great tennis player, but not.
Yes.
I love running around the court.
Love tennis.
So What do you think this will evolve to? I mean, you've got an album coming up.
Right.
Will you have an album
Finally,
coming?
after 10 years, I have an album coming now in the next couple of months.
Oh, wow.
And then I have a headline show, which I'd love you to come to in central London. And
Is
then
that this year?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
To come to that.
Oh hell yeah. And then this year is very much about the album and touring. And then from next year, honestly, I would like to write a book.
Would
and
you?
I would like to up the writing
Really
and speaking
talk on.
aspect. For now it's very much music, but I could see it becoming more of a brand, that Starling is representing a voice for women.
Definitely.
That would be wonderful.
And you're so lucky to have that voice behind you.
Thank you.
So you can imagine, launching a book with your voice behind you. You can imagine the amount of people would just love to be that. And it'll be
Lovely.
It won't be just for women, it'll be men as well.
I hope so.
I think it won't be just for women. It'll be
I think
a mixture.
Men actually have I think it's a different
Really
conversation,
rough
but
ride, yeah.
particularly around what's their role now, because all the
They're
gender roles
demasculated.
have changed. Exactly that. So at the same time, we've got this whole, women hating patriarchy, and I agree and I get it. But at the same time, individual men, which is what makes up groups of men, they are struggling to know their place in the house, financially, with work, with purpose. Do I open the door for her? Do I not? Do I compliment? Do I not?
Yeah.
Is
Will
the
you
wolf whistle something she wants or not?
Exactly.
It's so confusing.
Sexuality.
Absolutely. So because we're in the tectonic plates changing era of masculine and femininity and how we are working together or not working together, as you can see with Manosphere, we're in a tricky place that I would love to help the men, but I'm starting with the women because
You need to.
we need to.
Yeah,
We need to.
you
That's
need
it.
to.
Literally, we need
So
to.
I'm doing a Just Men Live next year
Wow.
in London and Just Women Live. So it'd be really interesting to get you to do something there. And that will
Absolutely.
be London, probably not Tunbridge Wells. But
Sure.
you wouldn't believe how many men have reached out already. I haven't even got the date. I got so many cards of men at events, not obvious, but secretly giving us it. Honestly, when you have a Just Men Live event, I want to be there because there's no. I thought you hadn't even been to the Just Women Live, but there's nothing really for men where they have speaking like a divorce speaker, sexuality speaker, in short bursts, and to have been and not be a network. See, this is not networking. You see, no one needs to network. You just literally be in a room.
And it happens.
And it actually happened naturally, like all those amazing crystals on the table. It naturally happened that people talked.
Totally.
You don't have to have what do you do. I mean,
No,
it was so relaxing.
Yeah.
And that's what I think made it so much more alive with Just Women Live, that it wasn't, you didn't have to be this person, this person, this person. You could just be you.
Yeah.
And
And you're right in that actually when you don't force
so
it,
money,
the
so much
networking is a
networking.
byproduct.
It did, but it
of
naturally
relaxation.
happened.
Exactly.
And I kept saying, when you're talking, just don't sell your business. Just talk about facts.
Yeah, what
you
you
want to
love.
hear.
Yeah.
And then put it in the swag bag, with
Yeah.
a QR code and get the information.
But you're
there.
underplaying the event for the listeners or the viewers. Like that event, I'm sorry, it is magical. It's why I want to
was.
keep doing more with
It
you.
was so great.
Because the themes, to your point,
It was on a
sexuality.
high level.
Oh, totally. But things like sexuality or people's intimate life, people don't talk about that enough.
I know.
Divorce, money, breathing, how you're centralizing your nervous system, beauty, but not doing it in a way that causes it with the red light. It was full 360.
It wasn't it?
Honestly.
It was so busy, but it was actually relaxing.
But it was actually so informative. Like I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it. And then, as you say, the swag bag. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole thing's so.
And then the red light going down with the red light.
Hell
and sort of standing there in the red light.
Hell yeah.
Then Charlotte Tilbury doing all the makeup. So they're going to be there. They're doing glitter and glam. And
So
then
good.
We got Zoe, who's a really well-known sleep doctor.
Oh yes.
It's taken me a year to get her. I
feel like I follow her.
She's really well-known in Tunbridge
Fab.
Wells. And I've got, a few surprises. So, yeah.
Wow, I'm
And you as a
excited
singer
already.
as well, which is
I'll be
fabulous.
back.
Good.
Definitely.
And forward, it's a business that grows, and whatever you're doing, we'll always follow you.
Likewise.
Funny enough, everyone that night all followed you that night. I was watching everyone going on your Instagram immediately. It was really funny
They
how
were
reactive
lovely.
it was.
Yeah, they were just really touched. I think it's the lyrics because I often
yeah.
get that about the lyrics. Particularly if there are rooms for women, they just go, I needed that song, Queen, or I know I'm enough, I can feel
Yeah.
it. It's almost like mantras. So
Definitely.
I intend to release more work that almost acts like a mantra for the woman.
That's how you met Naomi, isn't it? Naomi
Yeah.
told me about you.
Yeah.
Because I said, how do you work with yourself with all that's going on with your life? She said, you wouldn't believe this, but there's one woman in my life that I playlist every day, you've got to meet her. I said, who is she? And she said Starling's World and Queen. And she said she wouldn't have got through a lot of her stuff without listening to it on a daily basis. I thought it was so powerful and such a compliment.
I know, it does make me quite emotional.
I was worried that she wasn't going to come, actually, because it was a long way, but she was fabulous.
She was hilarious. She wants to do more with you.
Yeah, and she was lovely.
She, like a lot of women who are going through transitions, so whether it's divorce or job or leaving something unhealthy, you need a song. And I feel like the ladies love Queen because it's about digging deep.
Absolutely. Well, I think we'll finish on that one. It's digging deep. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Liv.
Harriet, Starling's World.
Thank you.
Please come again, and I can't wait to see you at the end of the year.
I'm excited already.
Yeah, me too. Take care.